Hi, it's Lee, and welcome to the Tesla Economist. As we said, the deliveries numbers were very important this quarter. It gave us an idea of how Tesla's demand is holding during these economic times, and when there's more supposed competition out there. It shows that there's still a lot of demand for Teslas, and it is holding. And yes, sure, Tesla had to lower the prices of the cars considerably to achieve that, but it worked. And Tesla may even have to lower prices again, but by not as much this time. Previously, Tesla were charging a premium for their cars, as were car dealers too for ICE, adding premiums to the sticker price. Since then, Tesla has adjusted their prices more to where they were before the initial price rises, and has various government incentives on top of that. From there, any more price lowering will have a more dramatic effect on demand. For example, if before Tesla lowered their prices by 10%, then it might have attracted 20% more demand. But now, since Tesla's prices are already lower, a 10% price drop could attract more like 40% demand. These numbers are just meant to be indicative, but the point is that there are exponentially more buyers at lower price points. There's a larger pool of buyers that can afford cars between $25,000 and $35,000 compared to $45,000 and $55,000. Tesla is aiming to get into that sweet spot where the larger pool of buyers lies. Tesla are aiming to do this with the Model 3 and Y, as the factories illustrate. Tesla currently have enough margin to hit those price points too, but that would remove a lot of current profit. Therefore, Tesla need to hit those lower price points by lowering costs, which is what Tesla has been working on and continue to. Tesla are not going to become the best-selling auto brand by making the best cars. It will only be achieved by getting prices much lower. Look at Toyota. They're currently the best-selling auto brand, and they are a low-cost car with basic features. So how low cost can Tesla get? It's an electric computer on wheels. Is there going to be a higher overhead for that car than you can get with the likes of the Toyota? Tesla can cut back on all non-essential items of all luxuries and reduce costs, but at the same time not risk affecting the brand. However, the Tesla brand is somewhat evolving. It used to be the electric sports car, then the electric luxury car, then the prestigious electric car that offered the most range and performance compared to the competition. It had to get known and make its mark with record-breaking specifications for the money. The brand is now well known and synonymous with electric cars. The reputation of the vehicles are that they are safe, reliable, high-tech, good range and performance. And now, after the price cuts, they're becoming more affordable. That's the evolution of the brand. It has to be. It has to become the affordable electric car. Tesla no longer need to prove themselves that electric is superior. They need to start proving themselves that electric is affordable for the masses. We don't need cars that go 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. Even 7 or 8 seconds is probably adequate for the majority of drivers and still competitive with ICE cars. Therefore, Tesla have started using different motors that cost much less and don't deliver as much performance. Tesla are cutting back in costs wherever they can, and they have all their user data to know where. One example was the passenger seat lumbar support. No one seemed to be using it, so it was removed. Another example was sunroofs. And of course, Elon has also tried removing radar and ultrasonic sensors. There is also a Model 3 Highland update and a Model Y Juniper update coming this year. Yes, the update will involve a minor facelift to the aesthetics of the vehicles to give them a slightly more modern look and feel, but they'll also be upgraded to Hardware 4. However, on top of that, I think various features that cost more money will be replaced with lower cost alternatives. Tesla is no longer going to be a prestigious car brand. It's going to become an affordable brand for the masses. Tesla don't need to prove themselves anymore about how fast they can go and how much range they can get. It just needs to become affordable. I think Model 3 and Y prices probably need to come down another 10% in order to meet demand at this new level of supply that Tesla will offer, especially when Texas and Berlin is ramped. At a guess, perhaps going from an ASP of around $47,000 to $45,000, which would drop gross margins from 20% to 16%. Although I think it might be prudent to do some financials and work out how much difference we see in Tesla lowering prices and margins and how much it affects earnings. And I do still think that part of this demand issue is due to the general economy, of which it could also get worse too. However, costs are coming down, so perhaps the drop in actual gross margin wouldn't be quite that bad. However, in reality, like I keep saying, it's about operating margin more than anything. The fact that Tesla are able to keep their OPEX so low and ramp up so high is going to be a major advantage Tesla have. Companies like NIO and Polestar aren't able to cover their OPEX, even despite positive gross margins from their vehicles. Their OPEX is a lot higher than Tesla's ever was at similar run rates, even despite the insane amount Tesla was spending on R&D or for FSD, which others aren't. And then you've got Lucid and Rivian, which are even worse. Added to this, the fact that Tesla's actual costs are so much lower than other EVs too, is why Tesla has such a competitive advantage and is the global leader in BEVs. However, Tesla are thinking big. They're not making lots of different models on multiple production lines that only produce around 10,000 units a month. Tesla are wanting to make lines that produce 50,000 units a month, or possibly even more with the new Gen 3 production, perhaps closer to 100,000. That's right, 5 times volume production. Tesla think big, and each time they think bigger and bigger, how to make enough EVs for the masses that they can afford. So this Gen 3 vehicle is all about getting the costs down, because like Elon says, it doesn't matter how many people want a Tesla if they simply cannot afford one, which means the Gen 3 vehicle may be somewhat more basic. I mean, I say that, but what is there in the car left to remove? It's basically just a screen with no other buttons. I think how long Tesla have been working on this Gen 3 vehicle now? I mean, we were told about it as far back as Battery Day, almost 3 years ago. We've been told about research labs in China working on this vehicle. Why are Tesla taking so long? Don't they know the Chinese is winning with low-cost EVs? Well, what would have been the point of Tesla releasing this Gen 3 vehicle a year ago? Tesla don't have enough cells for their current factories. How would adding an additional factory help, especially when it's going to be producing a model that's going to be a low cost and high demand, if they don't have the batteries for it? Therefore, Tesla had time. Tesla are doing what they can and working with partners to secure enough cells and batteries they can in the meantime. Whilst that accumulates, they have been working on the perfect EV that can be built in the perfect way. There's never been an auto company in history worth so much and able to justify investing so much into making the perfect car. Remember, when Tesla launched their last model, the stock was only about 1/10 the value it was compared to its all-time high. That's a lot more potential capital available to research and develop the ideal EV for the masses. Although, as investors, it's not so easy being left in the dark and not being told about exactly what is happening. When will this Gen 3 vehicle be revealed? Will it be a compact or a van or maybe both? We want to know the future of this company. We really haven't seen much happen since the opening of the new factories, and they've not been going as well as they were meant to. And the same with the 4680 cells. On the other hand, isn't this common sense? Isn't this what you would do? Keep all the intellectual property in secrets until the project is complete and then launch it to the world so they can marvel over your creation. Wouldn't you spend all the time you have to develop a new car if you didn't have enough batteries to make it yet? If you wanted to get the costs down as low as possible and learn as much from your previous processes of building a car, wouldn't you also want to take every advantage you could in improving every single step of the process in building these cars? We've been told though. We've been told the Gen 3 car is coming, and we've been told where it's going to be built. We've been shown a new factory in Mexico and been told that they may start production in the next couple of months, and it may only take 9 months to build the factory. And this is what we need to see as investors. Tesla to show us how they can take EV adoption to the next level, to the masses. Thanks for listening. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter and talk to me on Patreon.